Hi, I'm Evan Rappaport. A few weeks ago was my last day at Google. Before I left, I sent an email to a few thousand people on the teams that I worked with during my 9 years there. I received so many heartfelt replies from Googlers who expressed how much my note impacted them, so I hope that you may benefit from this too. Very little of this has anything to do with Google. If there's any wisdom in here, assume that it's something I learned from my teachers. Also, all the photos in this talk were taken on approved business trips that Google paid for. So I hope that's one reason why you could appreciate how much I love this company. Here it goes. Dear Googlers, my last day at Google is approaching, and I will be on vacation until then. I'll check email occasionally, but mostly I'll be on a remote atoll in French Polynesia, helping the local nonprofit organization develop strategies for ocean conservation, science, and submarine exploration. So I just wanted to take a few minutes before I leave to share some of what I've learned here and express my sincerest gratitude for all of you. What happened? The short story is that recently my position was eliminated. The longer and more accurate story is that I've actually had since several months ago to find a new role, and I could have even moved with my own headcount and budget. I was treated very fairly, and I'm incredibly grateful to the amazing managers that I've had who've helped me through this transition period. Thank you. If you're wondering why I failed to find a new job here at Google, given that I had so much time and my headcount, then please keep listening. This is really so aligned with what many of the conversations I've had with Googlers has been over the last few months. Ultimately, I didn't find another role here over the last 6 months because what I'm called to do in my life is no longer compatible with any of the roles I see at Google or any other tech company for that matter. I've always been most excited about generating new ideas and building out a portfolio of projects that can help the planet, regardless of whether technological breakthroughs are required. As Astro Teller says, fall in love with the problem, not the solution. I care about solving problems facing nature, and tech is simply a means to that end for me. It's just the solution. So, when potentially high impact projects can't proceed with the resources they deserve due to the lack of alignment with the company's core focus, that means that I am personally out of alignment. It's not Google's fault, it just means that it's time for me to leave. Early Googler Chang Meng Ten used to give this advice to Nooglers, which I've repeated many times and adhered to my entire career at Google. I do the right thing for Google and the world, and then I sit back and wait to get fired. If I don't get fired, I've done the right thing for everyone. If I do get fired, this is the wrong employer to work for in the first place. So either way, I win. That is my career strategy. If this quote resonates with you, please keep listening. It's really easy to say that Google has changed, that the culture has changed, yada, yada, yada. But what's more likely true is that you have changed. Google is a $2 trillion company and it changes very slowly. Its mission and primary source of revenue have been unchanged since the beginning. If you're unhappy with your work and you can't fix that here, then it's time to leave. The world will welcome you with open arms and you'll feel more freedom than ever before and also probably a healthy dose of fear because that's kind of the pill that I'm swallowing right now too. But if that's not accurate for you, as Sergey always says, get back to work. It's not tragic when someone leaves a company or gets let go. It certainly was not for me. It's a sign that the universe has a new mission for that person. They may not always see it yet, but they will almost certainly look back on that departure with tremendous gratitude within a few years. I deeply believe that by far the greatest contribution Google has to the world is teaching Googlers to be superstars and then setting them free to do something else that benefits society. I have learned more at this company and built a better network than I could ever possibly buy, and they paid me to do this. Someday your time will come to leave as well, and I would love for you to be able to say, thank you, Google, for preparing me for the next stage of my journey. What I'll miss most are the conversations with Googlers who are longing to deepen their sense of purpose, to discover their own identity outside of a corporate label, to find their unique niche, and to learn something new about how they might help this magical world. Over the past few years, I've had the incredible honor of meeting one on one with hundreds of Googlers who came to me asking for advice on how they could get more involved with nature and climate projects. Primarily, I offer three things to people in these one-on-ones, as well as in fireside chats that I did in Los Angeles and Paris. Number one, go to nature. There is no job change that is going to help nature or climate that will make you satisfied if you aren't actually going into nature yourself and having fun. So go hiking, jump in the ocean, get a bird feeder, and spend more money than you should to travel to biodiverse places while we still have them. Number two, your day job can only do so much. Look for volunteer gigs with nonprofits, paid advisor roles with impact focused startups. Do this outside of Google if possible, since then you don't need anyone else's permission. And if all else fails, change jobs. If you can't make it work at Google, there are countless companies working on nature and climate that desperately need someone just like you. Yes, you may need to take a pay cut, but if you're unhappy, feeling stuck or bored with your life, or just uninspired by what you're doing, then remind yourself that life is far shorter than you expect and ask yourself, what is the price of my soul? Tough one. And to avoid any confusion, Google was my dream job for so many years. So working here is exactly what many of our souls need right now. Wrapping up, in 2011, I made a difficult decision to move away from Hawaii to join Google in Silicon Valley. I came as a naive 31-year-old with childlike wonder about the possibilities that would open to me by working at such a magical company. I got to work on and launch dozens of world-changing products and features. I can say with amazement that all of my extremely high expectations were wildly exceeded here. I'm eternally grateful for the doors that Google has opened for me. And now, at 44 years old, I'm still naive and filled with childlike wonder, but I have a bit more well earned wisdom with some scars and some gray hairs to prove it. If I could have one wish for Google as I depart, it would be that every one of you fights with passion to preserve the culture that Larry and Sergey immortalized in our opening sentence of our founder's letter in 2004 for the IPO. Please don't forget this. You play a valuable role in upholding these values, and it's not just up to the CEO and SVPs. What they said was Google is not a conventional company, and we do not intend to become one. I have never treated my job at Google as a conventional job. I hope you never will either. Life is too short and too full of exciting opportunities to do that. Almost everything that has made my time here magical came as a result of me rejecting what I was supposed to do and instead doing what was simultaneously joyful for me and what felt right for Google and the world. As crazy as that strategy sounds, I still managed to achieve the success here that I was always seeking. And yes, that strategy even led to my favorite Google memory, which was abusing my power as a Google Maps product manager so that I could drive Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn to the world premiere of the Internship movie in a Street View car in Hollywood. And yeah, that's me in the driver's seat. The final strip of Calvin and Hobbes kind of conveys what I'm feeling right now. You can go look up the whole thing, but Calvin says, "It is a magical world, Hobbes, old buddy. Let's go exploring." If any of this lands for you, then I hope you'll connect with me through my website, LinkedIn, Instagram. You can find me at evanrappaport.com. But in the meantime, I am signing off with infinite gratitude for all of you. Thank you.